Murray Rice with UNT Geography. I'm here today just to share a brief presentation that I did as part of a panel on COVID-19 pandemic impacts. So what follows is my brief presentation. Hello, Murray Rice here talking about geography and COVID-19 impacts. I'm going to use Denton and DFW as example regions to talk about a couple of dimensions of business and economic change. So part one, unemployment, a direct economic impact of COVID-19. So we're looking here at southeastern Denton County, southwestern Collin County, going from March 7th to May 2nd. You all know the story, going from the economy in normal times to the economy under extreme stress, tremendous crisis. And of course, knowing the endpoints, we can also fill in the change in between. So unemployment rate change made possible by simple GIS analysis, neighborhood by neighborhood across Denton and Collin counties. And so really what we're representing here is there's a spectrum of outcomes that are revealed by this particular analysis. We're going from neighborhoods with 4% or less unemployment all the way up to neighborhoods that are severely impacted with 26.9 and greater percent unemployment rate. So let's take a look at a couple of example communities that really drive this point home. We've got on the moderate end of the spectrum, this block group, this community in southeastern Denton. March 7th, no unemployment whatsoever. May 2nd, 11% unemployment, a tremendous shock. And yet the dimension of this crisis is so great that we would call this a moderate part of the pandemic employment change spectrum. So let's look at another neighborhood where that's not quite true. One in the center of the city in Denton. And again, going from March 7th to May 2nd, from 1.8% unemployment to 29% unemployment. So again, just getting at this idea that there's a spectrum, and this community would be on the severe end of that spectrum. So this is just a simple analysis among all the analyses that are possible, but what it does is provide evidence indicating factors like vulnerability and resilience in local communities. And if we can use insights and incorporate insights like these, we make it possible for local leaders to make sound decisions and really aim at this idea of sustainable flourishing, trying to understand the unique characteristics and the drivers of employment change community by community across the country. So that's just one little look at geospatial technologies and COVID-19. Okay, let's carry on with part two, an industrial revolution in retail. So what I'd like to do here is present to you a couple of models to provide context for what I'm going to say about the businesses and the pandemic. So retail model number one is essentially physical stores, traditional retail, the way it's been done for decades and even centuries. So here's a DFW example, that 1924 firm that's still in business today with locations across DFW. It's all about getting customers in the door. And where do the customers come from? The customers come from markets around the stores. And so this is a simple, but for many years compelling model. You draw people from around your store to come into your store and buy things. Traditional brick and mortar retail has had real problems though, because retail doesn't only work this way anymore. So this is where retail model number two comes in. Omni-channel retail, where yes, you have stores, but you have other channels, other pathways for the consumer to interact with the retailer. So Amazon is king of this, world's most successful omni-channel business. Few Amazon channels, the website, the retail store, delivery, Kindle, partner pickup, locker pickup, all of these things add up to geographic space being actually really important, even for the website. Geography is important in Amazon's operations. So I want to trace that out with an example of DFW. 4 different channels for simplicity's sake. Fulfillment centers, Amazon lockers, Whole Foods, and Kohl's. All of these combining to cover the Metroplex with a complex network. So we could say pervasive, multidimensional, all across the Metroplex, presence through its facilities. And what are the facilities doing? They're providing market coverage, in some cases double or triple coverage, redundancy that's very strategic and intended in practice, not an accident or an inefficiency at all. They've arranged facilities for the purpose of serving the marketplace efficiently and well. And so this is just an indicator. Latest business news, e-commerce, internet stores, there's a number of terms here, but they're all doing really well. So Amazon, Walmart, companies that are investing in these kinds of multi-channel, omni-channel capabilities are doing really well. And so this is a result of the pandemic in part. The pandemic didn't create this. This is something that dates back to 1995, but it's something that's certainly happening now and more because of the pandemic and people not wanting to go into stores. So omnichannel retail used its strengths to gain market share during the pandemic. Acknowledge the crisis will not last forever, but will shopping habits formed during the pandemic continue? What about traditional retailers? Do they have a hope? And so our research here, UNT Geography, indicates there is some hope. And Denton provides even some partial models for how traditional retail can work. So really, to wrap up here, just say the degree to which American consumers continue with omni-channel shopping. Will it be permanent or not? That will have big implications for the future of retail as a whole. So with that, I will just say thank you for your attention.